got the same orders as this. And they just struck first.
Struck first. Mutually, we're evolved species.
Yesterday, I went and saw I.S.S, or International Space Station is what the I.S.S stands for. I don't think a lot of people know what this movie even is. Some people were asking me what movies I went and saw this weekend, and I told them I.S.S, and they were like, what? I saw this trailer like a month ago. It had a cool little premise, like basically Americans and Russians go to the International Space Station, and war breaks out between America and Russia, and takes place during present day. And then they're told, both the Americans and Russians are told to take the station by any means necessary. So cool premise. There wasn't anybody in this that really was like recognizable. I mean, there was a couple that recognizable, but it just did not have any big stars in it. Chris Messina, he was in the Air movie last year. I always think of him as the guy from the Mindy Project. He was like the American commander guy. There was this guy from Game of Thrones, Pilu, I don't know. I don't want to murder his name, but it was kind of that kind of cast. Ariana DeBose was the main star of the movie, I guess. And I guess I'll get into things I didn't like, because for the most part, I found this movie pretty boring. Nothing really ever happens, and then it kind of just ends. And I don't want to get into spoilers or anything, but at the beginning, when the Americans in particular, because you follow the Americans for the most part, get the message, take the International Space Station by any means necessary, the commander messages back, why? And that was kind of my thing during the beginning of the movie, too. That was my one question, like, why, if we're in the middle of war, why would we care about the International Space Station? They do tell you why at some point in time in this movie, and it's kind of dumb, but okay, I guess, whatever, to move the plot along. Another thing I didn't really like about the movie is I didn't really care about any of these characters. They don't really give you a whole lot of backstory. I mean, you get a couple lines of dialogue from people, and people that you think are villains might not necessarily be villains. It's kind of a trope we've seen 100 times before. But I never really cared about anybody. So, great. Now my heater's turning on. These are some real classy movie reviews. But anyways, the movie I thought was pretty boring. Like I said, it just kind of, there was some moments, I'm not going to say it was complete garbage. There was some moments that had you a little tense. I'm always a sucker for some space scenes where, you know, so many things can go wrong. But I don't know, it just didn't do it for me. I was checking my watch, checking my phone throughout the movie, and it's a short movie too, and it felt long, so I don't know. This wouldn't be one that I would recommend. This is definitely not one that I'm going to purchase or ever want to watch again. So, and if this movie had a budget bigger than $20 million, that's another thing I didn't like. There's this weird thing where I could tell that they were like in harnesses because of the way they're clothes and just the way they move. It was unnatural, which I know they were trying to simulate that they're in space in zero gravity, but it's been done in other movies way better than however they did it in this. It looked fake, and that may have been because the budget was real low. Like I said, if this has a bigger budget than $20 million, I would be flabbergasted. So I don't think anybody went and saw it. I don't recommend you see it. I'm gonna say this is a skip. I didn't hate it though. It's not like a train wreck of a movie, so I'll give it a 2 out of 5. That's me being generous. But yeah, I.S.S. Had you even heard of it till I mentioned it? Until next time, this is Rainy Cage. Peace out.